You can't do a video on the same thing twice. That's like illegal. And to that I say, well, fair enough. If you watched my video on Katawa Shoujo previously, it's kind of immature. I'm not going to toot my own horn and say the videos I've been doing lately are distinctly better, but they went into a completely different direction than what my original Katawa Shoujo video had. Hell, I made the video even before I decided on devoting my channel to visual novels, even before the original theme. It's been a while, but let's again look at the magic that is Katawa Shoujo.
そりゃ違うよ。
さよなら。誰なの？私も好きですよ。バカ。
4chan is the place of wonders. It has destroyed many things we have called beautiful, and has made many things we call beautiful from the origins of degeneracy. Katawa Shoujo is no exception. But miraculously, despite being given the topic of a visual novel about crippled girls, 4chan did not do what you thought it would, and instead, it born a beauty. Deep fried with a side of fries. It's funny because she's a burn victim. I'm actually a terrible human being. Katawa Shoujo, literally meaning crippled girls, takes place at the fictional Yamaku High School for Disabled Students, somewhere in Japan. Thankfully, this isn't university, and I can plagiarize from Wikipedia. Hisayo is an ordinary student who was confessed to by an ordinary girl, which unfortunately triggered his heart condition, landing him in the weirdest school imaginable. We follow his story as he adapts to his new environment and befriends some bloody weird girls. The game's first chapter is focused on the previously described premise and eventually leads into 3 more chapters focused on the girl of your choosing. If you happen to not get into any route, you get murdered by an anti-feminist psychopath. Our girls are all unordinary, but at the same time ordinary. This visual novel tries to normalize the idea of each girl's unique disability, which is nice. By the end of each route, you'll likely have completely forgotten the fact that each girl is not normal by society's standards, and instead will simply bask in the emotional aftermath of each girl's story. Each girl is different enough to maintain interest, but also a completely normal high school girl. Besides, Rin. I didn't understand her when I made my last video, and I still don't understand her now. Lily has a sweet, nurturing personality that you'll fall in love with. Emmy is an energetic girl who loves running, which is both commendable and ironic considering she doesn't have legs. Hanako is a shy girl, traumatized by her past regarding literally losing her family in a house fire. Shizune has a commanding, yet quirky personality, which is explained as you progress through the route and Ren. The only other 2 characters worth mentioning are Misha and Kenji. Misha is an overbearing girl who is Shizune's best friend and actually does not have a disability besides her loyalty to Shizune, which probably counts. She exists in most routes as the voice of the student council, but Shizune's bad end leads Hisayo into cheating on her with Misha, so I guess that's kind of the Misha end, if you don't mind how depressing the overall route ends. At least Misha doesn't commit suicide like she did in the beta of the game. Kenji, on the other hand, is the only main guy student we have, and he believes that women are taking over the world one step at a time. He can be summed up in 3 words: anti-feminist, conspiracist, and annoying. As Hisayo grows and you begin to explore the background behind each girl, you'll quickly realize you've already been reading this for 5 hours. The route quality does vary as each character has their own writer, but all of them are good. If I had to rank them in order, and I hate to do this because the comments will dissect this, but Lily, Emmy, Hanako, Shizune, Ren, don't hate me. The first thing to note is that this game is old. The game was created due to a discussion on 4chan in the late 2000s, leading to the creation of a group called 4-Leaf Studios. Unfortunately, the age shows, as we have a very limited amount of options when it comes to quality. However, I'm not one to judge on that. Clannad is even older, but you can't not say it's amazing after you played it, unless you're like a hard ass, or hate the stereotypical Japanese high school setting that like half of all anime and visual novels take place in, which is honestly fair. Jesus, I ran out of breath there. I suppose the worst part of this game is the background art, mostly being real-life images adjusted in Photoshop, or so I presume, but it's not really a big deal. Each character has their own unique art and many different poses. The art quality does noticeably change a bit. When comparing Emmy and Rin side by side, for example, Emmy is noticeably flatter, and I don't mean what you think I do. If I had to guess, Emmy was one of the first characters created and didn't get new sprites late enough into the game's development that they just published what they had. And honestly, they're fine, but the difference is noticeable and does take away from the game's overall consistency. The soundtracks are bloody brilliant and one of the best parts of the game. It can't be overstated that an amazing soundtrack can turn a good visual novel into a legendary one, and it definitely works in this game's favor. Your feelings will be played like a fiddle with this game's soundtrack, and I couldn't have asked for something more. I think I throw the word atmosphere around a lot in my videos, but it's an important concept. A story needs to be able to make you feel like you're a part of it. All the more so when we talk about visual novels that, in addition to the novel aspect, have, well, visuals and music that can serve to immerse you deeper in the story. In this regard, Katawa Shoujo hits those notes perfectly. The visuals have definitely aged, but it doesn't detract from the overall story. I don't want to be too rambly. It's pretty obvious that I have high thoughts about this game, and considering it's free, you have no reason not to at least try it if you like visual novels. The story clocks in around 30 hours overall, and for those who like H scenes, you won't be disappointed either. The visual novel isn't literally the end-all be-all of visual novels, nor is it terrible. However, it's definitely one of the best visual novels out there, and I would 100% recommend playing it. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, consider liking and subscribing. Each one of you goes a long way to inspire my motivation, and I thoroughly enjoy making videos on this new genre of gaming I've recently been involved by. It's actually crazy that I've already been playing visual novels for a year. Time sure does fly. Maybe you'll like my video I recently did on ReZero, which I'll put up on the screen now. Again, thanks for watching, and see you next time. Aokana is next week for sure, I promise.